Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Coin Lady channel. Our in-house lawyer Stuart has a few ideas for you to consider in this latest tepid jam. That's okay. He's their top lawyer, and he has declared the government's actions to be, quote, a violation of constitutional due process. The issue is the pressure put on financial institutions that are involved in any way with cryptocurrency. I'll also give you an analyst's outlook who thinks that you might be able to see Bitcoin reach $30,000 sooner rather than later. Potential XRP price target, 51 cents. And he considers the larger context in which this phenomenon occurs. Also, the Crypto Basic has this headline that will be of use. I'll get into this in more detail towards the end of the clip, but I felt it was important to bring up at the opening. Like a PSA, but more concise. Nevertheless, here's the headline: the India High Commission has joined Twitter in promoting a fraudulent cryptocurrency giveaway. What we're witnessing here is a group of scammers that are compromising legitimate Twitter accounts in order to spread fake XRP giveaways. Everything about this is completely absurd. Nevertheless, there is something I need to clarify before we go any further. Sadly, I come from a family devoid of any financial expertise. Do not buy or sell anything based on what I say or write. I'm not a financial advisor. Just a hobbyist here that occasionally posts videos to YouTube on various crypto-related topics. That's okay, Stuart. Sure thing. Chief Legal Officer of Ripple. A CoinDesk article entitled Signature Bank's Potential Purchaser Must Agree to Give Over All Crypto Operations was posted. And then the other day he was telling me that he had written the following: government action that denies legal firms their access to bank accounts violates constitutional due process. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation and the Federal Advisory Committee on Deposit Insurance v. Community Financial Services Association of America. Additionally, he uses a scenario from 2015 to illustrate his point. He claims that doing so is against the law. Is there going to be any fallout from this? Sorry, I have no idea. But this is what is happening, and it's pretty gross stuff, to be honest. This is what the article says: Signature Bank, which New York state regulators closed on Sunday, is now available. According to reports, however, there is a huge catch for any prospective buyer. Absolutely no crypto Wednesday night. Reuters was the first to announce the news, citing sources close to the situation. The FDIC has set Friday as the deadline for bids for the bank. The report said that New York-based financial institutions had declined. This shutdown followed the two-day collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, also located in California, and the less than week-long voluntary closure of Silvergate Bank, also located in California. The three failed financial institutions were notable for their support of cryptocurrency before their demise. Now reports surfaced that the U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission were looking into Signature Bank, a financial institution that received deposits from cryptocurrency users amounting to 25% of total deposits, for allegedly lax monitoring that may have allowed money laundering. In February, a class action complaint was launched against Signature Bank, claiming the bank was aware of and enabled the now notorious FTX fraud. More specifically, the lawsuit claims that Signature Bank knew about and knowingly allowed its customers' FTX exchange funds to become commingled within its own blockchain-based payments network, Signet. I'll add that I didn't know this until I read this story. It's not something that seems to have gotten out to the general public too much. On the other hand, I have no idea if that is in fact the case. Always, there will be those who would do everything for a quick buck, including creating baseless accusations and filing bogus lawsuits. In light of the bank's apparent failure, I have no idea what the fallout will be. It was already taken over. We'll have to wait and watch what develops if, for example, someone like that does appear. Even if it is bought outright by rivals, the lawsuit will continue. Who are you going to sue? Would they be the ones taking on that liability, the new person's purchasing, assuming that even happens? And then, even in that environment, I still can't help but wonder what the government is doing to ensure that whoever takes this over will never again be exposed to crypto, because that's essentially what they are talking about here. Then, they put pen to paper. Former acting comptroller of the currency and current Binance US CEO Brian Brooks is among those in the cryptocurrency industry who believe the closure of these three banks is part of a larger coordinated effort by regulators to cut off the cryptocurrency industry's access to traditional banking services. Now, this is not some far-fetched hypothesis, folks. Much of planning and cooperation have gone into this. What did we witness with the SEC and other government agencies even before this happened? Just making sue content by suing anyone and everyone who moves. Do you realize that? And then there's this government-manufactured crisis in the banking sector of the old financial system. It was the tool they employed to stifle progress in cryptography. It's just terrible material. This is some very repulsive material. Kashyap's own chart analyst and Cointelegraph contributor was making some observations. According to his analysis, under the positive scenario, Bitcoin might approach $35,000 in the near future, while XRP could reach 51 cents. A more optimistic outcome in the SEC Ripple case might potentially cause that estimate to rise slightly. Yet, that's a big if. Still, read his thoughts on the matter here. He reports that the U.S. stock market fell again on March 17 after recovering on the 16th. Investors are still worried about the stability of banks in the US and Europe. Bitcoin has surged to its highest level since January 12th, which is good news for crypto investors because it has not been correlated with the stock market. Hence, I have no problem admitting that there has been a decoupling in the near term, but I do not accept that this portends a permanent dissolution of the link. More proof than that is necessary for me to believe it. There will be brief lulls in the link between equities and crypto, but eventually it will return. To put it another way, it's simple to observe that if you zoom out far enough on a chart. In any case, the piece goes on. In an interview with CNBC, Michael Novogratz, CEO and creator of Galaxy Digital, predicted a credit crisis as a result of banks becoming less willing to lend in order to rebuild capital. To paraphrase, now is the moment to go long on Bitcoin and crypto, as these are the conditions for which it was designed. There appears to be a transition underway from a phase of quantitative tightening to one of quantitative easing. More than was borrowed during the 2008 financial crisis, the banks have borrowed $150 billion from the Federal Reserve so far. Experts noted that the Fed's balance sheet expansion of $300 billion in a week was second only to the $500 billion pumped following the crisis in March of 2020. Bitcoin surged from around $4,000 to $69,000 as a result of the quantitative easing in 2020. When will we learn from our mistakes? Could the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies keep rising? Well, you have a valid concern. But if that's what sparked this, then it couldn't have come at a better time. The range he gave, around $4,000 to $69, was accurate. Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. True. Still, wasn't it going to do the same objective regardless? Because economic cycles come and go. Perhaps that's what you're thinking. Most definitely. I won't go into detail here because I just covered this ground in my most recent video, but it's important to understand that when discussing the balance sheet, you're referring to a change in emphasis. As a result, the Fed has been gradually raising interest rates in an effort to slow inflation. The growth in their balance sheet that you are witnessing now has the opposite effect. That's a tremendous boost in just 1 week. Hence, it seems as though the whole of their work over the past year has been accomplished in the space of a week. It disappeared without a trace. At least a sizable piece of it. This is not good news for those who want inflation to decrease. On the other hand, I get that the financial system as a whole would collapse without it because trust is the foundation upon which it rests. That would cause total anarchy and mayhem. Obviously, they couldn't have it happen. And now Twitter is pushing the Ripple giveaway scam in the India High Commission. Ripple giveaway scammers have been using the official Twitter account of the Indian High Commission in Malawi. Only hours earlier, the verified account, which has nearly 22,000 followers, advocated the scam in the comments of prominent XRP community influencer Wrath of Conmen, resulting from our look into cryptography's foundations. Since March 15th, when the initial tweet was posted in response to a Bitcoin archive post, it has repeatedly appeared under the comments of prominent crypto accounts and said the following. It's time for the XRP community to pump the rocket ship emoji. Ripple XRP CEO Brad Garlinghouse started the XRP giveaway. First come, first served, etc. Note you're only allowed to accept a gift once. If you could, I'd appreciate your promptness. There's also an emoji of a camel for whatever reason. Yes, but take a look. The tweets have decreased on that account, so that's excellent news. That particular one has apparently perished. But I felt it necessary to emphasize this because it keeps occurring under other aliases. So it's always good to remind the public that anything of the sort is completely made up. There are constantly new people joining the XRP community, but there seem to be less than in 2020 and 2021, when there was joy and hysteria and markets moving up and moon this moon that wins all that nonsense. Nonetheless, there are constantly more students enrolling in classes. And I wanted to use this forum to take a quick moment to point you that anything you could come across that like this is, in a word, rubbish. Don't be fooled. Right. If someone asks you to send cryptocurrency with the promise of receiving more in return, you can assume it's a scam. Maintaining the status quo of peace. The Twitter account of the popular Hindi news station seemed to run normally, posting news updates despite the apparent breach, suggesting that the same bunch of scammers obtained access to both accounts. The Crypto Basic has contacted the Indian High Commission in the same vein as News 24, but has not heard back as of this writing. Well, it's still the same people running everything. They're merely bouncing around from one account to another. They are using account takeover and manipulation to further their scam. To do this, they are looking for accounts that have a good reputation. Thus, please exercise extreme caution. I don't claim to be an expert on money matters. Nothing I say or write should be used as a basis for making financial decisions. It's all over today. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.